Live from the Basement of Death studios around the state of Wisconsin, it is Playin and Slayin bonus episode. Welcome to Milwaukee, Adepticon Locals Guide to the Brew City Part 2. I am joined by the always wonderful Troy and the sometimes gone but never forgotten Josh.
Hello.
Good
And
evening.
we are going to talk a little bit about Adepticon, obviously, coming to Milwaukee here in 50 days, maybe?
Not even. We're under 50, I'm pretty
Under
sure.
50 days.
As I start sweating, if you can't see. Yeah, that's
And knowing that a fair number of people will be visiting our great city here on a great lake, we thought it would be nice to do a couple of small, here's what to do, here's what to see, here's what to eat, drink, so on and so forth. So these are going up on YouTube. So, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Adepticon was gracious enough to share the link to our first video. So check that out on their Facebook page. Without further ado, even though it's a mini episode and there won't be all of the endless banter about, hobbying and playing games and everything else, it'll be focused on, here's what to do in Milwaukee. When you're playing and slaying, it is important to stay hydrated. So let's talk a little bit about what we are drinking before we dive into the visitor's guide. Josh, I'm going to call on you.
Yeah, man. I've got the Liquid Death Grim Leafer. It's a sweet tea, agave, and vitamins. It's delicious.
Ooh, those
Check it
vitamins
out.
taste really good, I bet.
I mean, keeps you hydrated.
B12,
Yeah. All the B's.
vitamin Z.
Yep. And K and zinc. Troy, what do you got?
I was a little bit under the weather today, so I just went with Zevia. Again, friend of the show, Will Conway's favorite. So sugar-free, natural flavored soda that anybody who knows me knows that's what I drink.
Well, I am holding it down for the rest of the drinkers out there. I have a glass of Critical Role's Find Familiars collaboration, Sankeg's Hyde blended whiskey. So Matt Lillard's distilling company and the folks at Critical Role partnered up, and they actually put like a whole book in the it's like a little mini like book and everything. I think we've talked about it before, but drinking some of that tonight because got to do something with that bottle.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. And this is our teaser for anybody who's only listening to this episode. If you want to hear us talk about stuff like that, and then I would be at this point, I would be talking to Ty about Critical Role, and we talk about campaign 3 ending and all their stuff.
The
but we're not doing that.
And the future
we're not
of the
doing
role.
that
Yeah.
now. We're gonna keep on focus.
No,
and
but
talk about Adepticon.
But stay tuned to the YouTube when episode 88 drops. We'll be talking about all things nerd, geek, gaming related. But for now, what everyone is here and interested in is Adepticon Milwaukee. So we've talked all about it. It's coming to Milwaukee. It's here at the end of March. So we are trying to help out with all of you visitors and show you a little part, kind of an insider's tips and tricks to getting around Brew City and giving you some recommendations of places you should check out. Most of them walkable or short ride away, and then a few things further out if you feel like you want to take the car and just get out of downtown for a little bit. So let's start. Let's talk about, hey, I'm in town. I see some of the vendors and stuff, and I support the vendor hall, but I want to go check out a gaming store. I want to go see a bigger selection, see what's out there. Maybe there's some niche product that you weren't able to find in the vendor hall at Adepticon. So let's talk about friendly local game stores that are within, and I say within 20 minutes because kind of all of the suburbs around Milwaukee are, a 20 to 30 minute, depending on traffic and time of day drive. So very drivable.
Right. And I guess we could also give a little local traffic update. Like Milwaukee is Milwaukee. It is not Chicago. It is not Houston. It is not anything. We don't really have traffic, but we do. The only time there's really any traffic is probably between 7 and 8 in the morning, and then maybe like 3:30 to 5:30 in the evening. You'll get a little bit of traffic on, again, the main thoroughfares, which are Highway 94 going east-west and kind of 43 that goes north-south in and out of Milwaukee. So that, again, if you're thinking, if you're getting out or coming into town around those times, you may run, but nothing. If you're from a real
like
city, it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing.
Like 10 minutes added to your trip.
Yeah, right.
Not
it's
an hour.
Not an hour. It is not. Yeah, we don't
It's
really
a slow
have
down.
traffic. I tell people are from Chicago. We don't have traffic. Yeah,
right.
So.
Good point, and that's a fair assessment of getting around our fair city. But let's talk game stores. So first and foremost, there's a newer game store up on the east side of Milwaukee. So University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee campus is located just west off the lake as you go north of downtown. And Old Guard Games is really great, heavily miniature themed, all sorts of different miniature games, hobby supplies, cases, cool models and stuff to look at, and an incredible play space. The basement, you do have to watch your head at a few points and duck under some beams and stuff, but there's tons of tables. There's like a podcasting room. There's like RPG table rooms. There's just terrain bins. Like it's really incredible. I think you could probably do like a 30-person, 40-person like tournament down in their play space. And it's you go down and you're in a basement, and it is like an east side kind of basement, but obviously they've put tables in, and they have caution signs on those beams that you have to duck under. But Troy's brother John, who is significantly taller than the rest of us, would have to probably walk with his like shoulders hunched over down in the Old Guard basement.
But an incredible store. I think we've talked about it a little bit before on our episodes. One of the most, what I said, miniature forward game stores I've ever seen. I mean, there's some around Chicago, Grognard's and other that are very, have a lot of stuff, but Old Guard is really about miniature gaming. And then there's a few little bit of other stuff. They do have a few board games, and they have normal cards and things like that. But I don't know what it is. Like 80% of that store is miniature gaming, and a lot of the boutique, I'll call it boutique, miniature games like Moonstone, and some of those other small ones that
a lot of
historicals and things that you don't find in normal things. So just really great. And then that building you talked about, the basement, I don't even know what it used to be. It's an older building, so it has some real lot of character. Even when you go in there, it feels so super cool.
They have like suits of armor and cool artwork. Like they went all out to make, and like kind of the oak, like, paneling and stuff. It looks really cool in there. But definitely a great shop to check out if you got some time, or you just want to get away from. And I can't state that enough, that I know sometimes people love doing events 24/7 at Adepticon, but there comes a point, I think, in every weekend where you've got a few hours, or you just want to get out of the kind of busyness of the convention. So making a little side trip out to up to Old Guard Games is a great option. Then there's kind of two other, for lack of a better word, organizations of game stores. So the first one that we'll talk about is Game Universe, and I think if you've listened to us in the past, you've probably heard us mention these stores. But Game Universe is kind of it has everything. Great inventory from miniatures to RPGs, board games, card games. And there are locations kind of northwest and south of the city of Milwaukee, all relatively the same trip. If you go up north into Mequon, so that's one of the northern suburbs, and then west, like straight along Interstate 94, goes west towards Waukesha, where the BOD is, but in Brookfield, there is a location there, kind of right off the freeway on a busier stretch of road. And also down by me, kind of southwest of the city, There is one down in Franklin, which is another kind of southwestern suburb, about 20-25 minutes from downtown. All of their locations have great inventory, great supplies, roughly the same size. I don't know. You guys might have your favorite. I think probably Brookfield is closest for you.
Brookfield's
guys.
my home turf. So
same, yeah, that's my FLG.
But they, once again, really friendly, helpful staff as well. All these places just phenomenal. Kind of, recommend something, help you out if you need to find something. Really, really great. So that's Game Universe. And I think we'll be sharing all the links to the stores too, where you can get their information. And the last one, as far as shops nearby, is Board Game Barrister. And in my notes, I did say multiple locations in all directions except for over the lake. So from Milwaukee, you can't go east to anything unless you have a boat. And then you could go on a boat ride. But everything is going to be northwest or south of the city of Milwaukee. As maybe you're not aware, but we are right on Lake Michigan, which in of itself is a great little walk up Lincoln Memorial Drive. What's that? The marinas there, Veterans Park. Some great walking, and even beaches. We do have beaches as you head up that way.
Probably not for March, but
no. Yeah. The lake might be thawed out in that time in March. May not be ice on it. But Board Game Barrister is really great. More so focused on board games and card games. They have some RPG books and some miniature stuff and paints, but definitely a kind of board game focused stores. Really, really great staff that helps you out with recommendations. They have they have a YouTube channel where they actually will do like play, like they'll play a new game, or they'll play a game and kind of show you how it's played. That's worth checking out as well. And they have a lot of puzzles and games in the back that are more like, I don't know. Usually you don't see puzzles many places, but they have a pretty big section of puzzles as well. So that's Board Game Barrister. Definitely, any other, I don't think I missed any of the main game stores. There is a Games Workshop, kind of right out by me in Greenfield, kind of get right off the freeway. You take a left and there it is. It's kind of our local GW as well. All right. A near and dear topic to me.
This is the important one, Ty. This is one everyone's been waiting for, I think.
So pizza and gaming are kind of like this. You oftentimes will have pizza when you're playing games, hosting a tournament, whatever it might be. Now, when I say like best pizza in Milwaukee, this isn't like quickest, this isn't easiest to deliver, but this is legitimately what I believe are like the best ingredients, the best kind of prepared, the best, like best. Not like you're not going to get a Domino's or a Little John's or a pizza. All of that stuff's available. There's plenty of those kind of chain pizza places, but some of these are even like more sit down style restaurants. So, and this is in order of how I think, and this has changed over time, but number one is Transfer Milwaukee. They have a phenomenal menu of pizza options, full bar. Busier nights, you may want to make a reservation. I think Transfer does carry out. I'm not sure if they deliver, but you might be able to have them deliver off of like DoorDash or Eat Street or one of those services. But they're open until 9 p.m. pretty much every night of the week, so it's not like a late night option, but great for a dinner. And it is just like south of downtown, easily accessible by Uber or Lyft. A longer walk from the convention center. I don't know if we've mapped out the walk. You probably want to catch a ride, but you could walk it if you were feeling adventurous and the weather cooperated. Have either of you guys had Transfer?
I've
I
heard
have
good
not.
things.
Yeah.
But I've never been there.
Again, I know it always ends up at the top of the Milwaukee pizza list. So
Yeah,
like
for
pretty
sure.
good. And I get Ty, what kind of I won't call it normal style pizza for people that are from wherever, right? It's thinner crust, right? Kind of the normal or kind of a
crust.
hand tossed or kind of
Yeah, thinner, like hand tossed crust. One of my favorites is the smo. It's kind of your traditional sausage, mushroom, onion. But their sauce is really good at transfer, and you kind of get that nice crisp crust that it cracks when you eat it, and you're like, "Yep, that's a good crust." You're not going to get one of those soft, like greasy crusts that you can squish up like a sponge. The next one is right kind of south of downtown. It might be, I think it's off 2nd Street. Fixture Pizza Pub, like a light fixture. Full bar there, really great pizzas. The owner is a guy that used to hang out at a bar that I would go to all the time. He's been open for a number of years, but like it's just he really has put together a good chef, good ingredients. And it's usually pretty busy in there. But Fixture is open. I think it's like 10 o'clock most weekdays, and then on the weekend they're open till 11, so a little bit later on your Friday and Saturday. But once again, probably the type of place you want to go to and sit down if you want to go grab a couple beers and a pie. That is one of the top recommendations. Also, assuming you guys probably haven't been to Fixture, but
no,
I'll have to
I
drag
haven't,
you out there. Man, I need you guys to embrace the pizza life so we can.
The next one.
I've been to the next one for sure.
All right. So this is Ian's Pizza. Ian started in Madison, Wisconsin, college town, with one location, quickly added a second, and then probably about 10-ish years ago, maybe a little over, they opened the location up on University of Wisconsin Milwaukee's campus on the east side. And then a few years after that, they opened one right off of Juneau, which is so Water Street is kind of the main bar and kind of entertainment street in Milwaukee that runs up along the river. So it's just east of the convention center, kind of up by where the Fiserv Forum is. You go across the river on like Wells, up a block, and you're at Ian's Pizza. It is pizza by the slice with all sorts of daily specials. Macaroni and cheese pizza, chicken quesadilla pizza, like vegan slices, all sorts of options. You go in there. They do deliver. Their downtown delivery radius from that location should get to most of the hotels around the convention. They don't go much further out than like the immediate downtown, but you can get delivery from there. Granted, be prepared when you order from Ian's. It is generally you go and get 2 slices, and they are massive slices of pizza. If you're thinking I'm going to order like a whole pizza, it gets a little expensive, and it is very, very big because the slices are, one piece fills up a paper plate, like. But really crispy, good crust, great ingredients, some cool options. You can check and see what their special, slices are for a given day. And then that location, Troy, you've been to that one, right? Where the upstairs is the Cream City Arcade, and they have kind of.
I have not been. I always get takeout. Like I get there, all right, and then I've been to the one on the camp on UWM campus. That's the one I've been on purpose. Yeah,
I've been to the arcade. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
very fun.
They've got just some classic like 80s and 90s arcade games up there and some tables, because the downstairs is just like the counter, and where you order in a little front, like not even like a bar kind of table
just
type
like
thing in the front window. And it is it's just a really great spot for grabbing a slice, and it is definitely walkable from the Baird Center. But under a 10-minute walk, likely. And then I did do some honorable mentions because, there are a lot of really great options. Some aren't even on here, and people will be like, "Oh, why didn't you say this or that?" Well, because we have some really good pizza in Milwaukee. We're not known for our pizza, I don't think, around the country, but we think we're pretty good at pizza. So in Bayview, which is a very close, kind of just south of downtown, as you there's a bridge called the Hone Bridge. As you travel over the Hone Bridge into Bayview, there is, tucked back in a little neighborhood, an Italian restaurant that does incredible Italian pasta dishes and other things called Tenutas. I think this is a hidden gem of Milwaukee for Italian food, but their pizza is phenomenal at Tenutas. Really great for carry out. Also, their lasagna is incredible. So definitely that is an honorable mention. And then the other one that I can't personally say I've tried this, but this is always told to me as you have to go try this out, is there is a hotel, St. Kate's, the Art Hotel, kind of right in that district off Water Street. I think it might be on, now it's going to give me a problem, Kilbourne, I forget what street, but right off Water, St. Kate's. And inside St. Kate's is Proof Pizza. And Proof Pizza is kind of a wood fire brick oven pizza, Neapolitan style, kind of 12-inch round, thinner crust. But I've heard it's incredible. The pictures on the website look really good, but this gets mentioned routinely as like one of the better pizza spots in downtown. So
and if you're artsy, St. Kate's is kind of fun to kind of check out what they have.
Yeah, a few display
there.
like galleries and other
Yeah.
stuff, and all their rooms are like different too and curated art. It's supposed to be a really nice location.
For sure.
The other one I'd throw out, and people will see it, it's right across the street, is San Giorgio. It is a more expensive kind of hyper class, but has that one of the, I think it's like one of the true Napoleon, however you say it, pizzas in there. But if you're looking for some really good pizza, you're going to pay a little bit. It's a little bit of a nicer restaurant, kind of a white tablecloth place, but very nice and really good pizza.
And to wash that pizza down, Ty, where do we go? Where do we go for the beer?
Yes, and some of these beer places you can even bring food with you, like the first one, Third Space. So Third Space Brewing, we've talked about, probably 100 times, even though we've only done 87 episodes. It is one of my favorite local breweries, and they have a tap room where you can get all of their beers, and a beer garden if the weather's nice with some picnic tables outside. It's in kind of a light industrial area near downtown. The street is called St. Paul. It kind of is where the train station in downtown Milwaukee is, and as you head kind of west from there, you get to this little stretch where there's like a lighting company, a different like factory. You're on your way to like where Potawatomi, the casino, is, and Third Space is tucked in there, and it's where they do most of their brewing and bottling. So it's their whole facility. So some days you can do tours, but Third Space is just great product. I've gotten a few times to meet the owner and talk to him. He's a University of Wisconsin grad, so always a fellow Badger is good to know for what it's worth. But Kevin he's their brewmaster, and he also does a monthly event the last Wednesday of the month called Beer School, where you can basically buy a ticket, and then it's an hour and a half where he will kind of talk through how they make it, what the kind of beer is, and just kind of give you like tasting opportunity and kind of talk about it. And I did look on the website today. There is one that first night of Adepticon, Wednesday, March 26th at 6:30, and there are still roughly 18 spots left. So $30 gets you some beer tasting in an hour and 30 minutes at Beer School with their brewmaster. And they are doing the history and science of Belgian beers, from the Monk's Abbey ales to the farmers' saisons. So if that interests you, go check that out. Reserve your spot, 6:30 Wednesday night at Third Space.
And Belgians and Abbeys and Saisons are like really fun to learn about. Like there's a lot of cool history there. So yeah, like that would, I might, I'm not drinking right now, but I might actually consider going to that. But anyway, I can't. We got stuff going on that night.
We have a commitment but if I
If
disappear from our commitment, that's where I'll be.
For sure.
And third space, I know, guys, I think you all have enjoyed their beers at various times.
Oh, yeah.
That time of year, they usually will do some type of it might be sold out by the time Adepticon rolls around, but usually around St. Patrick's Day, they do like an Irish stout of some kind and like barrel select type releases. But at their tap room, you can always get stuff that they don't have in stores. Is the other thing that's nice about third space.
Sweet.
Another one, once again, that I talk about a lot, and one of my favorites is Eagle Park. So they have a tap room up kind of lower east side. So when I say east side and lower east side, if Milwaukee's up against the lake, as you travel north from downtown, you hit this area of lower east side, which is a lot of like apartments and some restaurants. And then as you go further up the lake shore, you get to the east side, which is where the University of Wisconsin is and a lot of university housing and other things. But in the lower east side, they have their tap room. They continue to just make some really great beer. And if you're there, you need to try one of their seltzers. They make an ecto cooler that it will be like a blast from your past. It tastes somehow just like the old ecto cooler Kool-Aid. But it is a seltzer, and if you have 5 or 6 of them, you will feel like you may need to sit down for a little bit. But Eagle Park does really great stuff as well, and they're close by. That's like an Uber ride. You probably don't want to walk that from the Baird Center. You're certainly not going to want to walk back home after, but it is a great spot. Then my last recommendation for brewery / tap room is Broken Bat Brewing. So Broken Bat Brewing is a relatively new. I don't know exactly how long they've been open, but they have all kind of baseball themed beer names. There's a ton of bobbleheads and brewers memorabilia and stuff in their location. And out back in kind of their what used to be likely a warehouse, they have an actual wiffle ball field built with like a stadium kind of center field baseball fence, foul poles. Like, it looks like an indoor baseball field in their warehouse, and you can rent it for an hour. I think it's $125 to rent it for an hour, and play wiffle ball with 10 to 12 of your friends. So it's super cool. I also looked on their website the weekend of Adepticon. There are open slots available if you decide you want to go be athletic and play some wiffle ball. You can do that. So had a cool event for work there, like a happy hour thing, and we had rented the wiffle ball field and did like a home run derby. It's pretty fun.
That's awesome.
What about you guys? Where are you going to get a beer if you had to choose either one of these 3 or a different one? Troy, I think you've got a brew pub that you had said you want to check out sometime. Isn't it like a vegan brewing?
Oh, yes. So I think of it. So Dead Bird Brewing, I think I've mentioned it. I've had beers on here before, and they are just north of Fiserv. So kind of a few blocks north of the Baird Center. And it's a vegan brewery, although you wouldn't know. Like, I think I told people I brought a bunch of work people there, and half of them we didn't tell it was vegan, and they just ordered pizza and whatever. And most beer is vegan unless you're putting lactose in it, really. So that's pretty. So yeah, Dead Bird. I frequent a lot. They're usually I think they're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But again, if you're looking for something different there. The other one, if you take 6th Street south, 6th Street basically runs on the west side of the Baird Center. You go, I don't know, maybe a mile south. I don't even think it's that far. And you run into Great Lakes Distillery, and tasting room. And again, longtime listeners will know we used to do a game night there. We met a few people there back in the day, and they do a lot of great drinks and vodka, gin. What else are they known for?
Roaring Dan's rum, Kinnikinnick whiskey. But Rehorst vodka is very good, and their Rehorst gin is very good.
They got a bunch of drink specials with their specialty spirits.
And then literally across the street from them is Mobcraft Brewery. I haven't been there a whole lot, but they do really interesting kind of different brews that they do. Again, Mob is where it comes from, right? They kind of take ideas from different people and they'll do different kind of styles of beer and flavors of beer that they'll do there. And so it's literally like across the street from
it's
Great Lakes Distilleries. Yeah,
it's crowdsourced brewing. They'll put up the recipes for a vote and then let people kind of determine what's going to get made.
Yeah. So welcome to Milwaukee. There's and we're not even hitting all of them. Like you can't throw a stone and not hit a brew pub or a
bar
like
or per capita. We probably, I don't know if this is official, but I don't think there's a city in the world that has more bars and less like square miles than the city of Milwaukee. We just have you'll be blown away by the number of establishments you can walk in and get a drink.
Yeah. There's a bar and there's a bar and there's a bar.
So speaking of bars and beers, sometimes you just need a Bloody Mary. It might have been a rough day of gaming. You might be a little hungover that next day, and before you hit the hall, you may just need a Bloody Mary. So I would be doing a disservice to the city of Milwaukee if I didn't talk about Sobelmann's, which is a family-owned bar that is just down the street from Third Space on St. Paul, a bar and restaurant. They've been there for a very long time. It looks kind of like a 3-story like house, small parking lot, and there's not much else around it. But Sobelmann's has been there on St. Paul forever, and they have all sorts of different Bloody Marys, some of which are just obscene, like served in a pitcher with a whole fried chicken on top and meat and cheese and cheese curds and celery. And like, I think we have a picture up or will have a picture up that shows one of these. And you think I'm kidding when I say a fried chicken on a stick in your Bloody Mary. I'm not. It's real.
Yeah.
And
there it is.
Beware. These are a task to sit down and have one.
It's a meal.
Yeah, but leave room because their burgers at Sobelmann's are incredible.
Amazing.
Like just incredible burgers. If there is like Marquette games and stuff and other things, they are crazy busy. Their happy hour is usually generally very busy, but it is so worth it to if you get down that way to hit Third Space, hit Sobelmann's. Some of the best bloodies in town can be found at Sobelmann's. They do have reasonable ones too, where you can not get a whole fried chicken and it's not served in a pitcher. It might be served in a large like tumbler glass. And you guys have a Sobelmann's out in Waukesha. Yeah. They've kind of expanded and opened a location out your way.
Yeah, the family loves going there. That's good stuff.
So that is my recommendation. I think we'll do another one of these leading up to Adepticon, where we're going to touch on some of the. So there's a Third Street Market, which is like I don't want to call it a food court, but a market, like all sorts of little kind of restaurant options. And then the public market, which is also just, about a 10-minute walk away. And we'll go through and kind of highlight some of those. I think we'll talk about, some of the logistical stuff like groceries, or if you need, like a Target or a Walmart, or like where to stop on your way from the airport. Some of that stuff we'll try to include in the next one. for traveling in, and maybe talk a little bit about one of the neighborhoods. Like we have the 5th Ward or the 3rd Ward or Bayview, just kind of nearby neighborhoods of Milwaukee that have some really great destinations.
Yep.
And also send questions. Like if you want to know anything, you see this on YouTube, leave a comment, ask away. You know, if you're like, hey, what about this type of food or this spot? If we don't know, we'll ask people we do know,
Yep.
and we'll get you an answer as to what you should check out. Any final thoughts, Troy, Josh? I did a ton of talking.
You
Yeah,
crushed
man,
it.
that's good.
It's-
Pizza. Everybody knows where the best pizza is
pizza-
now. That's the important part. They're good.
Pizza and beer. You don't get to be my size without loving both of those things. So, like, I have a special relationship with food and beer. All right. Do I still get to close it out like normal, Troy?
Sure.
But like, subscribe, leave comments, talk to us. And we are here to help you enjoy your time in Milwaukee. So thanks for listening. Keep the dice rolling, the drinks on ice, and no matter what, keep playing and slaying.